now, but we are going wirelessly live to you in your home from an iPad mini. And I'm here with Hugh Litvin from the Society of Camera Operators. I got it right twice this time.
There you go.
All right, we're on a roll.
All right.
So you're at Cine here. You have a booth. Can you let us know at home a little bit about your organization, how you started, and what it is that you do?
Sure. Well, the Society of Camera Operators started in 1981. It was founded by 13 camera operators who, at that time, during the 70s, a lot of film projects, especially the low-budget film projects, when they were shot, because of the budget, the producers didn't want to have to pay for an extra person on set. So they usually asked the cinematographer, the director of photography, well, can you operate the camera also?
Right.
Well, if that trend continued, there would be a lot less operators in the world today.
Sure.
So realizing that that was a concern, because when you look at actually being responsible for creating the image, the director of photography, he is the visual author of the aesthetic of the film per the vision of the director. So he has so many other things to be aware of, both in pre-production, production, and of course post-production for all the final color grading. When we actually get on set and we capture the image with all the concerns of image control, lighting, all of that, of course, focus, but that would be what the first does. But making sure the picture is all, the quality that the director of photography wanted, someone has to stand behind the camera and capture that.
Right.
The position of the camera operator, who I believe, whose only purpose in life is to maintain in-shot framing and composition. That's all he's responsible for.
Wow.
So they wanted to make sure that that position and that craft, that artistry in and of itself, could continue and not be threatened. And so they came together. We are a nonprofit organization. We're a fraternity, basically, and we have a lot of members that are from camera assistants to camera operators, to directors of photography, to interested parties, so to speak, students.
Right.
I'll go through the different membership levels in a bit. But we also have a organization that we are basically raising funds for. They're the one organization that we adopted, and that is the Vision Center of the Children's Hospital Los Angeles. So our motto of Society of Camera Operators is "We see it first." And of course, back in the old day, the first person that actually saw the image through the lens and through the viewfinder of the camera was a camera operator. So we did see it first. Now, of course, with Video Village and the directors and everybody else, some of us think, not me though, I still think we see it first, but some kind of get the idea that, well, we see it last because everybody else screws around with us before we can end up taking the shot. That's not open for debate as far as I'm concerned. But we raise money for the Vision Center.
Okay.
And we do events during the course of the year. We have raffles during the events. We sell swag, T-shirts, baseball caps, and every single dime, penny that we raise, short of cost recovery because we have to buy new swag, but we don't make any money on it. 100% of that is donated to the Vision Center Children's Hospital Los Angeles. And so during the course of the year, we present checks based on our fundraising.
Right.
And every year, we have the Society of Camera Operators Lifetime Achievement Awards. That was my mix-up because it actually used to be called Society of Operating Cameramen a long time ago when I came in.
Right.
And then I guess due to political correctness, a lot of the women said, but we're not men, so Society
Do you
of
have a lot
Camera
of?
Operators.
So are there?
We have a lot of women operators.
You refer to it as a fraternity, but it's a fraternity in that
it's a mixed fraternity. It's a fraternity sorority hybrid.
Okay.
We have a lot of females in there, both as And so anyway, every year we have our Lifetime Achievement Awards, and we give a lifetime achievement for camera operator. That's a lifelong career of camera operating. Very, very distinguished. Nice little cami, golden statue, just like the Oscars. We give out a camera technician's Lifetime Achievement Award. That would be equivalent to the first assistant, the one pulling focus. A Lifetime Achievement and Governor's and President's Award to filmmakers and equipment inventors, and we gave a Technical Achievement Award to a couple manufacturers this year also. So it's a great time every year that we can come together and honor those that have contributed so much to capturing that image.
Sure.
We seeing it first. And so the position again of the operator being so vital, our goal is to make sure that every production, regardless of whether it's a union production or an independent production, has that position of the camera operator staff, because that he is an extension of the director of photography's visual aesthetic.
Yep.
See, a director of photography more than likely was a camera operator before he became a director
Well,
of photography.
I was going to ask, is, typically a camera operator is a stepping stone to a director of
you start
photography.
off as an assistant,
Right.
you upgrade, you re-rate to like a first, pulling focus, do that for a substantial amount of years, but there are career firsts, there are career seconds. You don't always have to go all the way up the ladder.
Right.
But then you become an operator, and then after you've done your time as an operator, if you feel you want to move on to become a director of so as a director of photography who's been an operator, you understand how important it is to be responsible for maintaining that in-shot framing.
Can I ask you a silly question?
Yeah.
As I'm an editor by trade, so I know that assistant editors who want to move up to editor positions, some assistant editors can work on really huge, mainstream films, and then when they want to take the leap to a full editor, sort of have to go backwards half a step and do some of the independent work and some of the maybe lower budget films. Is it sort of the same ladder where it's like climbing?
It can happen without talking about the business end of the politics too much. I mean, you can re-rate on an A picture. You can be an operator, working A pictures and then re-rate to an A picture instead of having to step down on a lower level or lower quality picture. But it depends on where your mojo's at, really.
Yeah.
Because if you've got the game going, you can pretty much stay in that classification. But some who may have done a combination of independents, B movies, maybe a couple A movies here or there, as an operator looking to rate up to become a director of photography, they might end up doing a couple more indies, as a director of photography, just to kind of cement
there's
that
nothing
mojo,
wrong with it, honestly. You never know who has the mojo, who you're going to meet.
We're making movies.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about, making movies.
Yeah, and so I just know from working on the independent side that there's always only one person who's the DP and the operator. And I know that one of the, obviously the lighting and the crafting, the aesthetics, finding that look is a joy of the DP. But I also know from my friend who does it, thank you for throwing garbage out in front of our shot. We probably shouldn't put the garbage can there.
Those guys.
Is that, the joy of actually seeing the film from the viewpoint of the film. You know what I mean? When you're behind the camera and your eye is on that lens, you're seeing the world of the movie when you're operating.
Right.
And so the DPs that I know, they don't want to relinquish that necessarily because that's an amazing part of the experience.
Well, it is, but I can't figure out what is in each director of photography's mind, those that choose to operate and DP.
Right.
But really, when you look at it, it's not cost effective. Some people will argue with that, but as far as I'm concerned, it's not open for debate. That's just it. That's my opinion.
Right.
But it's more fact than opinion. But it's so much more cost effective, and it really allows the DP to focus on the total image rather than on, do I got too much headroom, not enough headroom, where's the nose room, am I clipping the edge of the frame, am I pushing him too far or whatever, because now you're worrying about the frame and the composition within the frame, and what about the lighting again, and where they move, and what if they didn't hit their mark. You're trying to worry about the framing, but then they might have fallen out of the light. When you're going to catch that when you're there's the dynamics that are there.
Well, that's why there's that relationship, and that's why the DP is sort of the visionary.
Sure exactly, but he needs a really skilled, crafted person to capture the frame and the composition within the frame. The director of photography and the director usually set it up. Here's the frame, we go from point A to point B, but someone has to maintain that established frame and that composition within the frame. It ain't the DP that's doing it. It ain't the director that's doing it. It's the camera operator that's doing that.
No, that's true. We're going to get run over by a golf cart
Okay.
here.
All
So
right.
does this include Steadicam operators in the world of camera operators?
Absolutely. Well, and that's the other thing is, as far as I'm concerned, a camera operator is a camera operator. If you're a Steadicam operator and you're only a Steadicam operator, well, yeah, then I guess you're a camera operator, but you're limiting yourself to just Steadicam.
Right.
Steadicam is still great, and it's still used today. But back, a few years ago, it was like the flavor of the month, and we actually had A camera operators that were on the wheels, and then we'd bring in day player Steadicam operators, because the A camera operators, they just didn't want to deal with that, and that was kind of efficient. And then after a while, as budgets and working conditions change, a lot of the A camera operators also were Steadicam operators, and so they'd come in, they'd in the wheels. Oh, we got to do one shot Steadicam, suit up to the Steadicam shot. Right. These Steadicam off, go back to the wheels. And
the wheels are
the gears.
See, that's so West Coast.
It's awesome.
See, I'm a pan and tilt guy. I know it's, and I had a friend who went to AFI, and she shot the final film in New York about Hell's Angels, and so they brought in all their gear, and DP or their operator takes this big case out of a truck with the gear head, and I go, what is that thing? He goes, oh yeah, you got to get on one of these things.
If you have some time, you got to come over to our booth.
I know. Once I get on it, I'll never want to do anything.
We've got a Millennium up there, you know, old school film, and we got a nice pan head on it, and let you play around with it. You know? Well, see, that's the other thing. That's gosh, there's so much to talk about. 'Cause I even talked about the membership levels, but I did mention what types of membership levels we are.
We got a couple minutes left.
Okay, but
let's say not even one, but let's say I was a camera operator. How would I go about joining?
Well, we have levels starting off as associate student member, which is open to any student who is a full-time student in a terminal degree program in the emphasis of cinematography. Now, that's what it's been for a long time, but with the advent of digital, and there's a lot of schools now of digital filmmaking instead of the typical established classical film schools.
Right.
Anybody who is desiring to get into, you know, that type of cinematography, digital cinematography, you know, we have that program that students can join, so they can come in as an associate student member. Those that don't meet the qualifications of an active member, and that would be anybody else, so that'd be camera assistants, even directors of photography who don't operate anymore, they can join as an associate member. An associate member needs no qualifications basically, other than you're kind of like in the camera department somehow.
You can breathe and walk, and you're in the camera department.
Right. Now, for an active member, and those are the ones who would vote, who are eligible to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award, you have to be a camera operator for 5 years. And that is 5 solid years of verifiable camera operating experience.
What's the longest break that you can have in that 5-year period? That's hard. It's freelance life, right?
Like 4 years, 2 months. No, I'm kidding. It's like 2 months. No, it's, you know, we look at, if you've done over 5 years, if you've done, if you rated from a first, let's say, to let's just say dream come true, to A-list operator, and you did 3 features over 5 years. They're all A and B-list pictures. The ramp up time and the ramp down time, you just can't. I mean, that's kind of like a slam dunk. But if you're doing a lot of independence and a lot of this and some TV and maybe a feature here or two, we just want to make sure that volume of experience will be a true representation of who you are as a camera operator. You know, as opposed to someone who just wants to kind of come in and bust through the gates, you know, so to speak. And of course, you have to be pledged and signed in, and you know, the whole bit. You know, you have to have active members sign your application to come in.
So, well, now that we're I think we're getting out of time here. I'm getting a lot of hand signals that you're not seeing, but they're over there, so I'm seeing them. How do people find you if they want to go begin the process or learn more about your organization?
www.soc.org.
All right. Thank you, Hugh.
All right. Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Appreciate it.
I'm going to send it back to you now, Michael, and take it away.